Store.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you are. Where you are right now is here with us on INCradio Virginia. It is Saturday, February 3:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Sunday, February 4:05 a.m. in the Philippines. Before we continue, we always would like to give our special greetings to our Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, and to our CFO Coordinator, SEPSI President and CEO, Brother Angelo Aranyo Manalo. Thank you both for allowing us to have opportunities to connect with brethren all around the world through projects such as INCRadio. To keep watching INCRadio and other programs like this, you can do so by going to incradio.org. You can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel by searching INCRadio DZEM 954. And if you're tuning in from the Philippines, you can listen to us on INCRadio DZEM 954. I am Brother RJ Gabrantina from the local congregation of Chesapeake, Virginia. Thank you for joining us on our episode. Before we begin, this is your reminder to keep commenting in the live chat for our ongoing hashtag challenge here on INCradio Virginia. Comment with the hashtag symbol followed by your corresponding hashtag so we can see who is the most active and supportive local congregation in the District of Virginia. Let's find out the results from last week's episode. Now, normally we do have a video graphic, but due to some technical difficulties, we aren't going to be able to show that here, but we still have the results, brothers and sisters, and dear guests. Either way, it's my voice that's on the videos, so it's going to be like it's the same thing, especially if you're listening us to on the radio and not actually on YouTube. But here are the results for INCradio Virginia's hashtag challenge for the episode from January 27, 2024. For fifth place, it's the extension of Cedar Bluff, Alabama. In fourth place, we have the video. We have the video. We'll go ahead and play the video. Thank you, Korea Tech. For fifth place, it's the extension of Cedar Bluff, Alabama. In fourth place, we have the Jasper Group Worship Service. Coming in at third place is the extension of Nashville, Tennessee. In second place is the local congregation of Huntsville, Alabama. And in first place is the local congregation of Charlotte, North Carolina. Congratulations to all the winners. That closes out the first month of 2024. So, let's find out who has the lead in the month of January. For fifth place, it's a tie between the local congregation of High Point, North Carolina and the extension of Nashville, Tennessee. In fourth place, we have the local congregation of Huntsville, Alabama. Coming in at third place is the local congregation of Fayetteville, North Carolina. In second place is the local congregation of Macon, Georgia. And in first place is the local congregation of Charlotte, North Carolina. Congratulations to all the winners. Who will lead in the month of February? Keep commenting in the live chat with your hashtag to make it to the top 5. Congratulations again to all the winners and especially to the ones leading the way already for 2024 in January. It looks like Charlotte may be continuing their lead. They were the ones who won our hashtag challenge for the year of 2023. Let's see if they can repeat for 2024. Now, for our CFO in Action segment, we are going to hear about what's going on in our district. Earlier today, there was a special gathering for all choir members in the Hampton Roads region. This was held in the Virginia Beach Chapel and led by our district minister, Brother Steve Inocencio. This will continue tomorrow for the Georgia region as they hold their choir special gathering in the South Atlanta Chapel, and the Carolina region will meet in the local congregation of Charlotte, North Carolina. Both gatherings will be held at 5 p.m. So to all of our choir members who may be watching, please make sure we support this activity. Now, moving on to our episode today. For those who don't know, according to the internet at least, February is International Friendship Month. So we're going to talk about friendship and what makes a good friend. And here with me today are two of my friends, and let's introduce them at this time. Let's start with our sister. Please introduce yourself again and anything you'd like to share with the viewers.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here on INCRadio again. I am Sister Ling Hinkle, also from the local congregation of Chesapeake, and I'm happy to talk again with my friends on INC Radio.
Yes, thank you so much again for joining us. And now our brother, who is also a very familiar face to INC Radio, we love having him on. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brother Mark Lorenzo, and I am glad to be here once again in INC Radio with two of my best friends in our district.
Oh, you mean that, brother Mark?
Of course, I do.
Oh, so sweet. All right, perfect. Well, then, who better than to talk about friendships than three friends here to talk about it, right? So let's just get down to it. Let's. The first question that I want to pose to you guys is: Is it easy for you to make friends? Now, I'd like to bring it in this way. Maybe you can make because maybe it's different. Because was it easy for you when you were younger, or is it easier for you now? Is there a difference in either way? Whatever the case may be. Brother Mark, let's start with you. Is it easy for you to make friends?
For me, yes, it is, especially if we all have the same interests, like let's say same hobbies, like watching the same franchise of movies, anything that you can get along with very easily. And that's how I become friends with most of my friends, especially right now in college.
Yeah, definitely. A shared interest definitely helps. It's almost like a immediate thing to, you know, base that friendship on, right? Sister Ling, do you have a similar experience, or is it different? How is it easy for you to make friends?
Yes, I think it's kind of funny actually because our last topic was somewhat kind of like this when we were talking about introverted and extroverted
Right.
growing up. And definitely growing up, I was so extroverted. Everyone's my friend, because I'm usually even now I'm usually the loudest person in the room. So I do think it's easy to make friends in general, but as I've gotten older, I may have gotten a little bit shyer. So at first, I may come off pretty quiet, but if I'm in like a group setting with a group of
For sure.
friends where I'm, really comfortable, who I'm really comfortable with, then it's easy to open up.
Yeah, and I think just like the last time I had both of you on as guests, I related a lot to what you were saying, Ling, and I again relate to you today because when I was younger, yes, it was so easy for me to make friends because I was actively like trying to be everyone's friend. I
Mhm.
remember in school, I would always like try to remember everyone's name. Like from school, I would try to memorize their name by the first week, if not the first day. Like I would just actively try to learn their name, try to get to know them. But now, growing up, I'm not as like trying to like get to know everyone. I mean, I'm not by all means like not trying to be their friend, but it's not. I'm not as like, and I'm still friendly. I'd like to think, but it's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little tough.
Yes,
But
for
going
sure.
to what Mark was saying about how having shared interests and everything like that, I was seeing some messages in the live chat, and Marie Dillon from Macon, because she puts hashtag Macon, she says, "My best friend during high school days and until now is Veronica Santos. We became close when I joined school band, and we were the only female members." So that's shared interest, shared experience. It's almost as if by default they had to become friends, but I'm glad that they did. And it's not just a thing like that. But is that similar for you guys, where because of the experience and around you, it becomes easier to become friends with them?
Yes, for sure. Actually, that's funny that you mentioned that because one of my best friends, we had a similar experience where when our local congregation was established, we broke off, and so I was away from like the friends that I've grown up with, um, and we happened to go to the same college together. And although I've known her for a big part of my life, I wasn't like close. But through that shared experience, like what you mentioned, by default, we had very few Kariwas, so we were always interacting. We were she was the Kadiwa president, I was the Kadiwa secretary. So we're always interacting with one another, and till this day, like we're one. Um, she's one of my closest friends now because of that.
Nice. Did you have anything else to add to that, Brother Mark?
I have like a similar thing with Sister Ling here. Uh, when I moved here in the U.S., pretty new to the school, don't know anybody, and then two two guys came up to me, and till now we're very close friends. And one of them actually goes to the same college as me now, and we've been taking the same program for our bachelor's degree. And it just feels nice that you have such a long time friend until now you're still close with them. It just
Mhm,
it warms my heart.
Yeah,
mhm.
definitely. Friendship is always a good thing that really helps you. It helps you get through any experience, right? Especially like school. It's a lot of growing up in there and like the worry about your future. But when you have someone there alongside you, it helps you feel more comfort and more sure and like less afraid, right?
Mm.
So what qualities make up a good friend? What do you look for when you're trying to make friendships? What are some characteristics that they have? Let's start with you first, Sister Ling.
I think someone who's there for you can offer you an ear to listen, sometimes when you just want to talk through some things. And also someone who gives good sound advice. Sometimes I don't think a good friend is someone who agrees with you all the time necessarily, or someone who just wants to, say something that you want to hear. So I think a good friend is someone who will tell you what you need to hear, even if you may not want to hear it at that time. Someone who's honest with you, especially if at the end of the day what they're telling you is what is good for you. So I think ultimately, someone who makes you better and brings you closer to God.
Oh, definitely, especially that last sentiment you said, because yes, it is things that we do need to hear. Um, but it's also let's be honest, it's tough to hear some of these critiques sometimes, but who better to hear these things from than a friend? I'd rather hear things that I need to work on or like things that I should hear and know from a friend than from anyone else, from a stranger, right?
Mhm.
So it's good to have a good friend who will do that for you and know how to tell it to you without like not necessarily not hurting your feelings, because your feelings may be hurt, we can't avoid that, but it's some in a way that they know that you will absorb it and understand, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mark, what do you think? What's something that makes a good friend?
For me, a good friend is like what Sister Ling said, someone who you can rely on, always have an ear to listen. And for me, someone who is trustworthy, someone that you just know that they will be there for you no matter what the situation may be. And I also like friends who correct me on things that I might not notice. Like for example, when I practice playing the organ, someone said that I tend to sway too much, and it it kind of distracts them. But that's how I keep tempo. So from then on, I tend to minimalize swaying just to keep the tempo. I use my arm, like I do that to keep tempo instead of swaying. So hopefully that's how I become more a better person, I guess.
No, that's a good point. It doesn't necessarily have to be things that make us a better person. The one of the best things a good friend can do with us, especially the friends that we have that are in the church as well, is that they help each we help each other become better officers or
Right.
better servants of Almighty God if by chance they're not officers. So I really love that your friend was comfortable to tell you, and then you're also comfortable to be like, well, this is how I perform, right? No, you were like, okay, I don't want him to, or I'm not sure, him or her to perform better as well. I don't want to distract them from the worship service, so I will do what I can. So that's a perfect friendship too, is that it goes both ways, right? It's reciprocal. Both people are helping each other. Both, it's not a selfish thing. That's my answer to this, is that what makes a quality of a good friend is that they work with you, right? They're not just trying to they're not using something from you that makes them feel better. They're also actively making you feel better in one way or another. So it goes both ways. It's a communication, right? Communication is not just talking; it's also listening. You have to go both ways. So, okay, now we kind of mentioned this a little bit, but I want to dive into it a bit more. Does it matter how long you've known the person for them to become a close friend? Now, we all know we have friends. Some people we have best friends. Some people we even have like just close friends. It's to me, it sounds like it's like in the middle of a friend and a best friend, but you know what I mean. Does that matter? The length of time you've known them, Brother Mark. What do you think?
Uh, f- for me, yes, it kind of does matter because the longer you know the person, the more things they know about you. So they know how will they approach you on a certain situation. Like they practically basically your sibling. That's how I see my closest friends. Especially knowing that I'm just an only child.
Yeah.
uh,
Right.
yeah.
So, what about you, Sister Ling? Before I give my answer, and also I see some answers already in the chat too. What is your thoughts on it?
I would say, at least for me, I don't think it matters how long you've known someone, just because I think a big factor in measuring how deep your friendship is with someone is the experiences that you've shared together. I know we've touched on it earlier, but for me, there have been points in my life where I was going through a lot at one time, and the people who have helped me through through those times, they proved to be people I consider, really close friends, even best friends now. And at because I have different friends in different periods of my life. So I've had friends where I've grown up with ever since I was little, and friends that I've made in college. One of my best friends. And to me, maybe in my head, college doesn't seem that long ago, but I guess on the calendar, it may seem longer than other people. But I would consider just the things that you've experienced, the unique situations that you've experienced together, and then for me, I look back and think, wow, we really have gone through a lot, even though time wise, it doesn't seem that it's been as long.
Yeah, for sure. I think because for me, I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle where, because I think it's funny because Brother Mark said it does matter. Sister Ling, you say it doesn't always matter. I'm in the middle because sometimes I have this. I've learned to try to not um overshare in a way with people I just meet because I like have this interaction with them. I'm like, oh, you're like we're bonding so much. I'm gonna tell you my whole life story now.
Mhm,
So I try not to do that anymore. But I always I've especially during the pandemic. I don't know if maybe I was just lonely because we're all stuck at home. But I started meeting some people from in other places in the world, and I started like becoming like these are my best friends now.
mhm.
But no, I still keep in touch with them, but it's not like they're like they're they're just friends or like nothing wrong with that either. But I also agree with something Brother Andrew Wynn in the chat said. He said, in extraordinary circumstances, one can suddenly have a new best friend almost instantaneously. And that's kind of what Ling, you were kind of saying. Like sometimes in certain moments, like a bond can become so strong in that one moment that they become a close friend. Like maybe at the time you're not realizing how close you are with them, but after over time you start realizing, okay, they are one of my best friends now. And I think that's kind of what you were saying, Ling, right?
I think I definitely that resounds with me because, when I met, just gonna put it, it was Hazel that I met in uh, when Chesapeake started, and as you guys know, she's one of my best friends now. But our like extraordinary circumstances, we had a new locale. There's so few of us. We're taking classes, physical classes together in college. Like we're sharing all of these different experiences at the same time, and that's such a critical point in our lives. We're growing up too mentally, um you know where things may be hard with school and then life coming at you at different angles. So I think those really, for me, it's what you experience together that can really deepen the levels. And because I have a couple of people who I considered close friends because of those very reasons, and they bring new meaning to the through thick or thin.
Mhm. Now you didn't name drop her earlier, but she knew it was you because I saw her in the chat. Because when you talked about it, she threw some heart emojis in the chat. She's watching right now, being a supportive friend.
Ooh. Hi, Hazel.
Nice. Okay, so now um let's talk into this part now. Do you have any friends from childhood that you're still close with? Ling, you kind of already mentioned that you have a bunch of friends that you've grown up with. But brother Mark, what about you? Do you have any friends from childhood that you still are close with?
Sadly, not anymore. However, we do still follow each other on social media, but other than that, no more communication
Most of your
whatsoever.
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but most of your childhood friends are still in Philippines. Is that correct?
Yes, they are.
So would you say that that's kind of part of it? Is just the distance?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like,
but yeah, go ahead.
sorry. Like, I guess they were kind of sad when they learned that I had to move immediately, because it was
Hmm.
kind of a sudden move, and I wasn't able to say goodbye to some of them,
Hmm.
and I guess they didn't take it positively.
No, okay. That's I understand that, that's it can be fair. We don't really fully know their side, but it sounds like you're understanding their side at least, which is
Yeah.
a good friend.
Mhm.
But some people in the chat were also yes, talking about similar situations where because of social media, we are able to still connect with these childhood friends. I know I have a bunch of childhood friends. But one thing I also think is a good quality of a good friend is that no matter how long of a time in between you meeting them, it's like no time had passed, right?
Mhm.
Um, I always think about that with some friends of mine that I've grown up with, and then some, yeah, we've kind of not really lost touch per se, but it's just not as as much anymore. But I don't think that that's necessarily a knock at either myself or them. It's just that we've changed, and
Mhm.
people change, and it's not like we either one of us changed for the bad. It's just there are different things going on in our lives now. So, but you know, at least those friends are understanding and happy for where we are in our lives, and that's all that we can really hope for, right? So, we're about to close out soon, so I want to talk about this now. Why is it important for us to have these friends who have these good characteristics, who have good character? Why should we strive to have these kind of friendships? What do you think? Anyone could just shout it out.
I think that a key phrase to that is show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. At least for me, I'm thankful and blessed to say that a lot of the friends that I've grown up with since childhood, I'm still friends with, and we're all still officers. We're all still active in the church. So I think a critical part, apart from, having my parents raise me the way that they've raised me, is another factor is just I've had great examples to follow from my friendships. I was always excited to participate because I know that my friends are going to be there, and we were all CWS choir growing up. And so I feel like I can attribute a lot of that activeness because it was instilled in me growing up through my friendships. It was always fostered. And of course, I had friends in school, but um, having friends in the church, they held such a deeper meaning because they faced similar things that we did, and our life revolves around church. So having friends that knew that understood that and practiced that helped me to grow up and be the person that I am today.
Definitely. I've always heard that phrase too, and it also resonated with me. I've always thought that held so much weight, right? And I think there's a lot of evidence to that for anyone. Uh, Mark, what do you think? Why is it important that we have good friends in our circle?
For me, it kind of gives you that you have respect for each other. It just shows how much you have grown, despite excuse me, despite what you guys have gone through. Especially for these who are in my locale with the Kadiwa now, who were not here before. They've seen me how I grew up inside this locale for almost like a decade, and we're still like strong officers. They're the ones who motivated me from I was Binhi when I moved here, uh, motivating me to take offices, become more active. And I'm really grateful for them because they know how to, well, not push my limits, but they know how to encourage me enough to be a better officer,
Mhm.
always inspiring me. And I inspire them too because in such a young age, I have this strong faith. And it makes some titas proud here in this locale.
I'm sure it makes more than just the Titas proud. Even as a friend, hearing you
Right.
say that, hearing to know that you have such a good support system, it also makes me proud. So, um, I'm glad we have such great friends. I want to shout out some of our friends in the chat. They're continuing to join us in the conversation. So some the username says Pixel. I'm not sure if that's your name, but sorry, but your username says Pixel. It says a good friend is someone who accepts you for who you are. Very true. I also would like to preface that though with kind of what Brother Mark was saying. They will also challenge you to be a better person of who you are, right? To make you the best. I also want to give an update here because I mentioned Marie Dillon about her and her friend that they were almost they had to become friends by default, but she agreed and said we also have opposite personalities. She's loud and I'm quiet, but we
Yeah.
complement each other. And because of that, she became more outgoing, and the friend became a little quieter.
Yes. I think that's what happened to me.
Yeah. Speaking of you, Ling, though, another follow up, Sister Hazel was still in the chat and said it's a blessing to have Sister Ling as her friend and sister. So
Oh.
shout outs to you, Sister Hazel. What warm friendship. We are closing out, but I do want to give you guys an opportunity to give shout outs to your friends. So, Ling, do you want to shout out Hazel again and other friends that you have?
Sure. So definitely shout out to Hazel, all my friends in the locale of Chesapeake, and my childhood friends in Virginia Beach. You know who you are. Of course, shout out to my mom for always bringing me to activities and so that I could develop these friendships. And um, so thank you all. Love you
Nice.
guys.
And Brother Mark, any shout outs?
Shout out to all my friends here in North Atlanta, and shout out to my family there in the Philippines, as well as to my girlfriend. Hope to see you guys very soon. I miss you all, and that's all.
Nice. I want to give a shout out to my friends in the local congregation of Fairfield. You guys know who you are. And district in Northeast California. You all know who you are. And shout outs also to my fiance. Looking forward to spending my life with my best friend, Sister Elaine from Burnaby, British Columbia. Thank you so much for all your support and for everyone. And again, special greetings before as we close out to our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our CFO coordinator, SEPSI president and CEO, Brother Angelo Arano Manalo, our district minister, Brother Stephen Asensio, our Assistant District Minister, Brother June Hernandez, our District CFO Overseer, Brother Melvin Bayangoan. I'm gonna practice that better, but I'll get that nailed down by the end of this month, hopefully. Our District Multimedia Advisor, Brother Denzel Malapit, our Station Manager, Brother Arnel Solano, our Executive Producer, Brother Manly Andaya, our Kuya Tex, and all of our INC Radio family, and of course, to all of our friends and family watching INC Radio Virginia. We'll see you next week, but for now, keep tuning in for INC Radio Seattle. Thank you so much for watching, everyone.